to At Home with Dia. If you're new to my channel, I'm Dia, and in today's video, I will be sharing 10 strategies for small home design and what you can do to make your small space feel bigger. Over the years, I've found that whether you live in a small house, an apartment, or you have spaces in your house that are a little bit tight, it all comes down to the sense of space versus the actual size. You don't have to be limited by the square footage of your space, because there's things you can do to alter the perception of size and make your rooms function and feel bigger. So if you'd like to learn how to create the illusion of a larger space that works well for your needs, keep on watching. While it is true that lighter colors make a space feel larger, this is mainly because light colors reflect more light and as a result make the space look brighter and more open. Using neutral colors like cream, taupe, pale gray, light beige, and any variation of white on your walls and your furnishing creates a tranquil effect and gives the perception of a larger space. Keeping it light and bright works very well in most cases. But if you prefer a darker color palette and the room you're working with is actually used at night with artificial lighting, painting the walls a dark, deep, moody color will make them recede. This means they will look as if they're moving back and make the space appear larger. Just to clarify, when I say moody, I mean colors that have a grayish undertone that make them look a little bit dusty and subdued. Using different colored flooring chops up the space and makes it look smaller. So keep your floor color consistent throughout. This is especially important in open plan layout or a combination of rooms that are visible from each other. It is best to avoid rugs if at all possible, but if you want to use a rug to anchor a space or define a seating area, make sure that rug doesn't have a lot of pattern or colors so it doesn't attract attention. In small bathrooms, using the same tile on the floor and in the shower or bath surround, plus painting the walls a similar color, will make the space look uniform. This approach blurs the division between floors and walls and actually tricks the eye to perceiving the space as being larger than it actually is. Another key strategy is the use of lighting. Since brighter spaces tend to look larger, try to maximize the natural light coming into your space. Lightweight drapes or curtains will allow more light to come in through the windows. If heavier or room darkening curtains are needed for privacy, try to keep the color more of a tone-on-tone with your walls to prevent the room from looking more closed in. And of course, always hang your draperies as high as possible, which makes the room appear taller and subsequently larger. Now, even if you maximize the natural light that's coming into your rooms, it's extra important to introduce artificial lighting as well. The more light fixtures and lamps you have dispersed throughout the space, the bigger it will feel. Also, try to draw the eye to the perimeter of the room at night. This can be achieved by brightening up dark corners using either plug-in or battery-operated uplights or table lamps. If your kitchen doesn't have under-cabinet lighting, try putting a small lamp in the corner of your countertop or install remote control puck lights under the cabinets for extra illumination. Now let's discuss furniture. When choosing furniture for your small space, keep in mind that scale is relative. Just because you have a small space does not mean that you have to fill it with small furniture. Instead of using a small sofa and multiple other pieces of seating, Try using a larger sofa with 1 or 2 small seating options to round off the conversation area. Also, consider the visual weight, not just the size of a piece. Pale-colored furniture and pieces with legs look lighter and smaller versus boxy, overstuffed, dark, upholstered pieces. Practice a less is more approach by using fewer, more versatile pieces instead of trying to cram too much into a room. For example, a round table is less bulky than a square or rectangular one, plus allows for easy movement around a smaller dining area. Use versatile furniture like expandable tables. These are a great option for tight dining areas. You can keep them closed with just 4 chairs for everyday use, but they can expand to accommodate extra seating when you want to entertain a larger group for dinner. Extra chairs can be put in a corner of another room, maybe a bedroom, and they can be brought in when extra seating is needed. Keep in mind the low contrast and cohesive approach. Paint the walls in adjoining rooms the same or similar color to increase perceived space. This creates a longer sight line without interruption and makes the spaces appear bigger. When you use neutral colors, it allows the eye to roam freely throughout the space without distractions. This enhances the feeling of space and makes the rooms appear larger. But don't be worried. This does not mean that you have to avoid color altogether. You can use pattern and color, but do it sparingly. If there's a pattern or a color that you love, pull that color out and use it as your accent color. Then sprinkle it here and there throughout the space. Also, accenting with non-colors like black and white will add a little bit of drama to your space and keep a neutral color palette from looking too boring. Introducing wood tones also brings some warmth, so that is one thing to consider as well. And while we're talking about accents, let's talk about decor. Be intentional with the accessories and the decor that you use in your space. The size and quantity of decor and wall art is very important in small spaces. Too many items on different surfaces and walls creates visual clutter and overstimulation. Try to upscale your decor by going with larger, fewer pieces. On walls, use large-scale artwork instead of a collection of smaller pieces in different shapes and colors. If you love the look of a gallery wall, use the same or similar frames and hang them close to each other so they look as if they're one piece. For a cohesive look, photo groupings on a wall should either be all black and white or all colored, but use the same color frames and mats. Mirrors are great because of their reflective abilities. They can maximize light when placed across from a window and can also trick the eye from perceiving the space to be larger than it is. Just make sure that if you don't place the mirror across from a window, it actually reflects something interesting or appealing, like a plant, a piece of art, or even the overall look of the room. High polished surfaces, just like mirrors, bounce light around the room and detract the eye from focusing on the actual size of the space. Shiny metals, glass, crystal, even light fixtures with see-through shades add sparkle and bounce light around the room, which then contributes to it appearing more interesting and larger. Use walls and vertical space to your advantage to make your space appear taller and bigger. Have you noticed how rooms with tall ceilings always appear larger? This is because the eye perceives the space above as volume, which in turn makes the actual room appear bigger. Tall bookcases and shelving units that go all the way up to the ceiling are a great way to make a room appear taller, plus offer the opportunity of valuable storage, which brings me to the next strategy. We cannot talk about maximizing small spaces without discussing how to tame clutter that takes up valuable space in our small rooms. It is true that uncluttered and tidy spaces appear bigger. However, unless you're a minimalist, you, like most people, would have accumulated things you need and want in your space. So finding practical and clever ways of storing your things in plain sight will help you make your rooms function and look better. This is where you can make use of multifunction furniture and storage solutions. Consider using a storage ottoman instead of a coffee table, or even a storage bench as extra seating at the dining table. Use lidded baskets, boxes, trunks, both as decorative pieces but also for storage solutions. So you can store everyday items like toys, supplies, extra bedding, keys, remotes. You get the idea. So if you assign a specific storage spot for your stuff, you're more likely to put it back in its place after you're done using it. Also, consider using enclosed cabinets instead of open shelving, or maybe a combination of both, so you can hide the not so good looking stuff behind closed doors and display your nice things on the open shelves. Of course, if you already have open shelving, don't despair. You can still achieve a closed storage solution by getting baskets that have lids, baskets or boxes actually, that fit the width of your shelves, and you can hide things in there. Be strategic with your storage solutions. Create a drop zone at your front entrance. If the space allows, use a dresser with drawers or maybe a console with drawers, so you can use the drawers to put things like keys, wallets, sunglasses, mail. That way, these things don't find their way into areas of your home they don't belong. The concept is having a designated area where you can store things and hide them in plain sight. Don't try and do it all at once. Tackle one drawer at a time or one closet at a time. Little victories over your clutter will give you a sense of accomplishment and will also encourage you to keep on with your goal of organizing your space, tidying it up, and keeping it tidy. I hope I've inspired you to look around your space and think of things you can change to help you make your rooms appear bigger, but also to function better for the way you live. Making your space feel and function better is a process, so don't feel bad if it doesn't all come together at once. Keep these strategies in mind as you work through on making small changes or large to make your space and rooms appear bigger. Please let me know in the comments below which of these tips you will try first, if there's any that you're already using in your space, and what other tips you would like to hear. Also, don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and to stay updated with new tips and ideas for your home, subscribe to my channel. I'll be sharing more timeless design advice, ideas, and DIY tricks in coming videos, so you don't want to miss them. See you next time. Bye for now.